everybody, welcome to another video. Today it'll be what if I was in Disventure Camp Season 1. Before this begins, a few things to note. Background footage is not owned by me, it is owned by Niche Cartoons in the intro and outro segments of this video. If you have seen What If I Was in DC Season 2, this is not connected to that at all. They are separate, I'm a new contestant in each. If you haven't seen it, that's fine. I'm going to repeat the basic rules for this What If. No romantic involvement with any of this cast. They're cartoon characters. I don't even think I need to explain further. Just no. Since the cast needs to remain equal in gender and cast amount, I will be using a wheel to decide what team I am on, which female I replace, because fun fact, I'm a female. Yay. I don't know. Anyways, if I'm eliminated before the finale or anything, the What If continues anyways, because just from the Disventure Camp Season 2 one, my presence somehow changes everything. But in this one, it isn't until later on, so you'll be seeing a lot of repeats in the beginning, and additionally, do note this is a lot more detailed, which probably will explain the video length, so do be expecting detail. So who I'm replacing for the wheel on screen is Lil, which, thank goodness it's Lil, or we would have had some problems, and my team was actually decided to be purple in the earlier wheel. I kinda hoped it would have been teal, but you know, whatever. Either way, this is going to be something. Let's just get this What If started.
Episode 1. Looking out into the forest, I question why I even decided to go onto the show. As answered in my confessional where I say, I just came for the money. Look y'all, I do not have any deep motivations. Purple team is formed as I walk with my teammates. Ashley reads the map, saying she knows a bit from her father teaching her on the farm. I cannot read maps, so someone else has to do it, since again I am replacing Lil. Will is impressed and they chat as Ellie and Gabby talk. Noticing my options are Alex/Nick, I probably stuck with Nick, as Alec would try to keep to himself. While chatting, Gabby interrupts, realizing Nick is wearing a cashmere sweater, and they begin to fight. Breaking it up, Ashley says we all need to work together as a team. As we get to camp, Ashley asks how the fire could be made, remembering she knows a trick from, you guessed it, back on her farm. Alec offers, saying he knows a more efficient way, starting a fire, with everyone impressed. Ashley mentions that they need to get prepared, saying that her and Will can forge for food, and whoever else can forge for water. Nick offers to do so, as no one else does. Alec wants to jump in the fire, Ellie just wants to chill, Gabby stays to be with Ellie, as I don't want to get to know the others, since what had ended from the walk had been nothing beneficial for me. Nick is annoyed and the three go off. Alec begins reading as I ask what he is, reading, as a conversation is struck about books, which Gabby interrupts, saying that she prefers reading on her phone, environment stuff. Nick, while forging for water, is impressed at his skills, and Will is calmed down by Ashley as the two find some apples. Nick runs into the two, complaining about how the others didn't even bother to help. Ashley asks for an alliance between the three, saying you can secure them a spot and merge. They all agree as it is time to enter the first challenge, let's twist. Kill Team has everything go the same as in canon. Votes for swaps teams land as follows: Alec, Ashley, Will, Nick, and me. I'll vote for Gabby. Understand, guys? I used to hate Gabby at the beginning of Season 1, so my guess is I would do the same here. Plus, she had interrupted both bonds conversations I was trying to build for myself. I would be so annoyed. Ellie and Gabby vote for Nick to swap. As the swap of teams happens, and Fury comes onto the team. The faithful operations are gone as follows: Ashley, Will, and Fury protecting the flag directly, or staying at base. Ellie, me, Nick, and Alec are going up to protect. I've asked the other three what the plan is, as I would have no clue what to do. I am not someone who is good as paintball. Nick, from the confidence from Forging for Water, suggests we two, Ellie and me, protect him, and Alec go up as the group gets a flag, wanting to do more for himself, but this time with backup. The three of us agree, as me and Ellie somewhat succeed in helping the other two. Alec sneaks, grabbing the flag as Gabby rants in cannon, which Fury still switches the flag, credting it to Alec. Everything group deal still occurs yet again here, with it going tonight. Ashley comforts Will as Nick says goodnight to Fury, while I try to start a conversation with Ellie. Alec and Fury still have their chat. There's no elimination, and again, purple wins. Moving on to episode 2. Everything from Teal still occurs. Ashley thinks that her, Will, Nick, and Fiore should go forage for more supplies, as they all go off. Me, Alec, and Ellie are left alone. Ellie brings up how the three of them, now 4, had grown pretty close. Alec agrees, staying could be an issue come in the future. As I say that maybe we three should make an alliance. I mean, we had to combat that in some way, shape, or form. It could save us if gone right. The two agree as we continue to chat about what we could do to save ourselves. To the challenge, as we run up the hill, Fury asks to head off, which Ashley lets her a bit worried. Fury fails to find the idol, as me, Ellie, and Alec go on one lock. as Ashley and Nickel on the other. Clearly, in the original, Ashley didn't seem to think leaving Will with Fiore was stupid, and me not wanting to get involved or cause much of anything that could cause drama under the radar strategy partially, I would not say anything. Therefore, that would still occur, leading to the loss. Fiore would still lash out at Will because she would get annoyed. Even in the BTA, without the 4-person alliance that happened, and there's still a 3-person alliance here, so I don't know, maybe she still want to take that down anyways. Will would expose her, failing to Nick and everyone else on the team. He tries to convince Ashley, but fails. Me, Ellie, and Alec take this as an opportunity to, save ourselves, voting for Will, and Nick would too. So this leads to the votes being 5 votes on Will from me, Ellie, Alec, Fiore, and Nick, 1 on Alec from Ashley, and 1 on Fiore from Will. Will's eliminated to the dismay of Ashley, satisfaction to Fiore, me, Ellie, and Alec, and Nick, yeah, I don't even know how he would react. Remember, I'm only on purple, so again, I only affect things there. I don't affect anything on teal, just yet. Anyways. So, moving on to episode 3, Ashley asked me, Alec, and Ellie if we could go get to the day's water and food, as we agreed. Ellie says she'll go off to forage for food, berries, walking off, leaving me and Alec to go forage for water. As we do, I ask a few questions about him, mainly book-wise, trying to form, some sort of bond for the Alliance moving forward. He answers as the topic also switches to my favorite books. A bit boring, sure, but it would help Melly standing on the team, which would be my goal. For the challenge, first things first, I am not revealing my biggest fear to this entire viewing world. Heck no. Second, I would be willing to face it. I don't know. It's not too horrible. I'll word it like that. With me completing the challenge, Alex still rejects to do so he isn't bald. Ashley and Nick talk about the Will situation, however they aren't suspicious about Fiore, without Will to drive that. And trust me, I would not suspect a little child. Like the others, I feel sympathy for her situation. We win the challenge, as going back, it continues with me just chatting with Alec and Ellie, hopefully equally, just again trying to strengthen those quote-unquote bonds, and just strengthen my place in this alliance. Also, Drew is eliminated like in the original. Episode 4. Ashley notices Fiore is still up as she's setting everything up for night at camp, suggesting that she goes to sleep. After all, her sisters always need the extra sleep back on her farm. Fiore agrees, but annoyed, wanting Ashley gone once and for all. She grabs Nick's cashmere sweater, my ponytail bow/hair ties, some of Alec's books, and Ellie's jacket, throwing them into the fire, as she goes back to sleep, where Ashley wakes up everybody in panic, seeing everything is being burned. Everyone is annoyed as Fiore comes out saying she saw Ashley burn everything during the night and was scared, apologizing she didn't do anything sooner. Ashley is shocked and pushes that it isn't true, as Alec walks off, not wanting to be a part of this. Ellie and me decide to walk off and focus and discuss on the possibilities that could have happened here. We both agree that Ashley probably didn't do this. She had no reason to, but if not her, then who would it have been? Either way, we decided to say nothing. It helped us gain full majority over the team, especially from the previous Outcast Station. Fiore and Alex still chat as an original. Challenge-wise, Ellie would still ask to go with Alec, Ashley would ask to go with Nick, trying to do damage control from the earlier situation, so that would be left to Fiore. I think of it as an interesting opportunity as we begin to row. I tell her she's doing good and ask if she ever did rowing back home. She would ignore the subject of her home, switching the topic to what happened earlier. As I just mentioned, I'm just a tad confused by the whole ordeal, not wanting to push something she's not comfortable with. I then ask if she wants to try and see if we could beat the others on the platform, which she agrees to the platform, as we speedrun paddling the canoe. Ashley would try to convince Nick that she burned nothing, she did nothing, but he wouldn't listen, saying she was just as crazy as well. Ashley begins to have suspicions on Fiore because of this accusation. In the fights, I would get the unfortunate matchup against Gabby. Yeah, I lost. Look, I can try, but against Gabby, there is no way I am winning in any universe. Meaning, purple team loses. Heading back to camp, me, Alec, and Ellie are talking a bit strategically in the forest, trying to choose who to vote. While that, Alec is reading his books, Ellie is sketching some fashion designs, and I am writing some story plans, as Fiore comes revealing her nature to all of us, asking to join us in the vote. Alec instantly agrees to the confusion of me and Ellie, as the votes end up as 4 on Nick from Alec, Ellie, me, and Fiore, 1 on Ashley from Nick, and then 1 on Fiore from Ashley. Nick is shocked as Alec shares his annoyance with him, especially from the first challenge. And the rest was agreed because why not? We can always get Ashley out next time if we needed to. Ashley realizes, yeah, she might be done for. Moving on to episode 5. Ashley, suspicious of what Fiore has been up to after burning the items incident, thinks that if she can expose her, she might be able to save herself. She asks if we could all go start getting today's supply of food and water, and she would catch up soon. She just needs to grab her clothes from the tent, still in her PJs. Everyone agrees, not seeing an issue, as Ashley finds Fiore's journal, ready to find out the truth. The challenge, a fun fact about me, is I actually know how to bake and cook. Yay! And since nobody else on the team does, I would be the resident chef. Everyone asks who I want as my assistant, as I recall that Alec has a cookbook, probably knowing more than the others, and I could build more of a bond for the alliance with him. So I ask him, and he agrees. The other three go off trying to find ingredients. Ashley gets the chicken, Ellie makes her deal with Gabby, gets the fish, eyes. Fiore tries to get the final ingredient, as me and Allie chat a bit more. I explain how I know cooking, and as I ask him if he has any other sides, reading. He mentions he's never really thought about it before. He's mainly focused on his wife's son's world anyways. He realizes how shocked I am, saying that we both need to focus on what would be made. We begin to throw out some ideas using inspiration from his cookbook and my personal experience. Though I do think I could make something good, wow, a little bit of confidence, it wouldn't compare to Teal's pizza. Plus, them not winning kind of just ruins some of the emotional impact of the episode. So, we still lose, even though it's a lot closer this time. Gabby still volunteers to join the elimination ceremony as Ashley exposes Fiore and her actions using the journal as evidence. Alec walks away, not really caring, as Ashley continues to push how we can't keep her around. Ellie and I excuse ourselves, and we chat about who we should side in the end of it all. Going to the elimination ceremony, we decide to side with Fiore, thinking she could be much more beneficial come the merge. Now, I could say the argument for any three of us going. Fiore, she values our interactions between me and Alec more than Fiore's help and merge. Could be mad at her about burning her jacket, because I feel like we'd all basically figured out that it was Fiore who burned everyone thanks to frame Ashley. I think that would be the consensus here. Alec values my interaction. She values my interactions with her more than Alex and wants to keep Fiore around for help and merge. And me, she values her interactions with Alec more than me and wants to keep Fiore around for help and merge. So, whenever I have a problem deciding these things, I pull out a wheel. Look, y'all, it works. It works. And the wheel here ended up falling onto Alec. Therefore, Ellie chooses to eliminate him, valuing the interactions we've had more and keeping Fiore around to be helpful in merge. Alec is upset, Ashley is furious, but it ends this way. Moving on to episode 6. Fiore realizes she still has the book she borrowed from Alec, as she mentions it to me and Ellie, putting it with her stuff. Ellie says she wishes she didn't have to deal with that elimination last night, whereas I say it's fine. We just need to win this upcoming challenge. Fiore asks what we're planning to do if we won out of boredom, which Ellie mentions to pay off college debt and live without having to worry about our jobs. Fiore makes a joke out of it. Doesn't land the best, but she mentions she just wants the money for money. I agree, saying that's all I want the money for myself, but maybe for a little bit more. So the challenge is revealed to be a double, which I have a confessional mentioning how that ruins basically everything of our original plans. We all agreed to go for an equal matchup, as while we were running, Fiore gets tranquilized. Me and Ellie reach the lake, and we agree to just swim to the end. I wouldn't be able to do the same strategy as Alec, as I wouldn't think of it. Since Ellie was very close to winning behind Alec, I think she actually could have if she wasn't hit by the huge stick. I don't think I could swim faster, so Ellie managed to win immunity along with Gabby, and the two are so happy for each other. For elimination, I go up to Ellie, making sure the plan is Fiore, reminding her of our original alliance and how it would be more beneficial to keep around. Especially challenges, how we built a stronger bonds, etc., etc. She nods as she's realizing she's in the power game position again. How would she use it? Remember, everything on Teal still remains the same up to this point, meaning Greta is still quote-unquote eliminated. Gabby and Ellie still have their moment, which I noticed because I'm not blind like the rest of this cast with them. It's like they don't even realize what's happening between them. Anyway, okay, I'm getting off track with the votes. I think it could end up either way. Ellie decides to go for a more strategic path and keeps Fiore around. However, I am also leaning towards the fact I would be kept around here. Here's my reasoning. 1. She sits her elimination good luck winning challenge with a 6-year-old girl. This can obviously be some anger from the moment, however I think it holds some weight. With only 2 left, she would have to carry the team bent over backwards in terms of the challenge. Either way, 2. After losing Alex, she would rather keep someone she at least had teasing interactions with. The goat would somehow be eating her up on the inside. She doesn't want to deal with that. 3. Strategically, she'd rather have a close ally around rather than somebody who would be useful tool in the merge. And just double check, I also used a reel just for more fairness, and it did land on Fiore's elimination, so In the end, Fiore is quote-unquote eliminated. Remember, they just swap teams? Episode 7. Both me and Ellie go back, as I thank her for choosing to save me over Fiore. She responds nicely. In the tent, Gret appears, scaring both of us. Not enough to throw a rock, though. Noticing the shock on our faces, Gret explains that this was a game twist. Ellie instantly asks if Fiore is still around, as Gret nods her head. Ellie is now a tad scared, per se, as she looks under confessional. For me, I would be interested how Gret would affect the team dynamic, if it could have an alliance, etc. Again, I would not know basically anything about Gret. I would be so focused on Purple Team. Teal Team would not even be in my ballpark of concerns. Speaking of Teal Team, as Fiore arrives saying how grateful she is to still be in the game, and how me, but especially Ellie, she'd be more mad at the main person who caused her elimination, I treated her horribly despite her being a little girl. Most would believe her, however, Gabby wouldn't at all. This wasn't the Ellie she knew. Dan states that she can be booted next, if needed. Back on Purple, Gret is ranting about how horrible Teal was, which she ends when she told to Gabby. This gets Ellie mad, as she defends Gabby from Gret, kind of like in episode 8, I believe it was, yeah. The two get in somewhat of an argument, which I would try to stop, but it keeps escalating as both get more and more angry at the other. Reaching a breaking point, I would scream at the two to stop, explaining how we didn't have time for this, and despite the disagreements, some having actual reasons, we had to work together as a team to win. Otherwise, we were going to go down fast, and besides, I needed sleep. Being woken up for hours in the middle of the night was not in my plans. This leaves Ellie and Gret in silence. Come the morning, Gabby sneaks up, coming to Purple in order to tell Ellie what's going on. Getting some food, we discussing about the return of Gret. Ellie would still be angry with what she said about Gabby someone, and I would agree it was messed up. Yeah, I have a heart, wow. But we need to keep some sort of neutralization so we can work together and actually win the challenges. At this time, Gabby would be out of breath as Ellie asks why she came, and that she's happy to see her. Explaining everything that Fiore had said about us both, I respond saying it wasn't too surprising. It was Fiore after all. Ellie tells Gabby everything about Fiore we knew, which she believes instantly. She says she doesn't know how to convince the others that she, and by extension, me, sort of, just to continue proving her point, I guess. I don't know. She'd mainly be doing this for Ellie, though. I think we can all agree on that. Are innocent. Thinking for a bit, it's recalling the Fiore's journal, which I ask where it could be if she left it behind. Did she bring it or something? Ellie doesn't know, but she'll just be trying to look for it. The evidence could be used to help her case. I mean, she didn't bring a journal with her to elimination, right? From what we knew. Challenge-wise, Gabby's chosen, along with Ellie. Since those two being together, another second would not work. I mean, not Gabby and Ellie, being Gret and Ellie and yeah. Gret tries to go fast as I get mad, saying we have to let her actually breathe. She rolls her eyes as we notice Teal finish. Gabby is still slowed down due to her looking over at Ellie a few times to make sure she's alright, but Ellie finishes soon afterwards. Gabby is chosen as the boys while I'm chosen on Purple, since it's hard to say whether the other two would sabotage, the other. Due to Fiore now being on Teal, she's break dance classes. She wants that win. Dad is able to help solve the puzzle, and though we are able to get the puzzle part done fast, and though maybe stupid confidence, but I think I communicate well for the two to work out, I might have the bracelets to finish a 9-piece puzzle, but contested by both Dan and Fiore, and with Gret and Ellie just fighting half the time and still having that rivalry and barely being neutralization, I don't know how to word it, we'd all be screwed. After we lose, Ellie instantly tells me that we have to vote off Gret. As we're talking, Gret asks to speak to me privately as she tries to get me to vote off Ellie instead, saying we could rule the game together. That'd be beneficial. Basically, anything to get the vote off of her. I am not stupid though. If I voted Ellie, I would have Gabby right on my back. Gret, you can use me betraying Ellie as a way to get me fully voted off. If I stayed voting with Gret on the other hand, I keep Ellie's quote-unquote loyalty, and the others would appreciate me for choosing to get Gret out of here, because no one really likes Gret at this point. Which means she gets eliminated in a 2-2-1 vote. And episode 8. In Jake and Tom, the situation still happens on Teal, as Gabby sneaks over from Teal to check on Ellie. As she reveals the journal, she shows it to Gabby. Oh, I forgot to say, from this, I said, we're hiking where she's the best, happiest, as Ellie thanks me. I mean, I was just repeating what she'd helped me with earlier. Heading back to the camp, we continue to look for Rivera's journal. As Ellie finds it, we can clear the rumors. I don't know where I forgot that, but yes, my apologies. Anyways. I was a bit shocked with how much down in the dark patch Rivera truly was, but it'll help. She engages chatting with Ellie as I walk up with the day's berries, offering them to it. And being so oblivious that I just ruined a moment, of course. There is an extension of oblivious I do have, guys. And so the merge is now formed. Heading to the cabin, while we unpack, Fiore puts her innocent girl act on for them all. Miriam, Jake, and Tom believe it, but Dan looked a tad suspicious about it, which intrigued us. As we pull out the journal to show to everybody, the challenge begins. Since this challenge takes forever to analyze, for simplicity, Fiore was using the same strategy to shoot in the original, using the fact we treated her quote-unquote horribly as a boost for it to work. No one would notice the strategy until it's too late. I myself would be too focused on the challenge such the fights and trying to break it all up. Once we get back to camp, we instantly reveal the journal, which Fiore tries to cover up, saying it's probably ours. I mean, we came with it. And I was writing things. But the handwriting and everything else ended up line up with Fiore's actions, but in a different light. Once she realizes no one believes her, she lets the act down, saying no one vote her anyways. She's immune. People separate. Tom, Miriam, Jake, Ellie, me, and Gabby, wherever Dan is. Tom, Jake, and Miriam are chatting about which of us Ellie or me to vote off. Since Gabby, Dan were virtually with them, plus Fiore's immunity. Fiore comes up to the three, saying she'd vote with them if they voted out Ellie first. Again, she'd be more salty towards the person who directly caused her loss. With me, Ellie, and Gabby, we're discussing which of Jake, Tom, and Miriam to vote off. Fiore's immunity and Dan's allegiance makes us not want. Can't vote them. We decide on Tom. Gabby finds him strange. Ellie agrees. He hasn't revealed anything, and I want to mention his challenge threat. Next, in social game with those two, and it could get spell trouble for all of us. As Dan comes, we ask him if he'd like to vote with us, and he debates the subject, which makes us fear he wouldn't vote with us. Knowing it's a 5-3, Guy reveals the fact she has the idol to the shock and relief of me. As we discuss who she needs to use it on, I say it had to be Ellie. Fiore would be more salted towards the person who voted her off. Ellie has proven to be better than challenged than me, and the other four would have no issue with voting her. Gabby asks if I'm sure. I am, as we get to elimination. Gabby uses her idol to the shock of everyone around the room. Votes land on 5 Ellie, 3 on Tom. Gabby had saved Ellie, but she kept thanking her over and over, while Tom is most shocked, upset, but waves to Jake, saying that maybe eventually they can talk about everything. He also waved to Miriam, appreciative of the help that she had offered. Episode 9. The night talk doesn't happen. As we go to the morning, Jake is missing Tom, talks to Miriam about it, who comforts him, saying that it's moved forward for him, but also for themselves. And the money! Ellie and Gabby are talking, having fun, thinking Barry is just enjoying each other's company. I might be chilling at the cabin along with Fiore and Dan. Dan comes up to me, basically greets me, and gets to the point. How is Gabby feeling about him not voting with us? I decide to go for the honest route since lying could cause some rough consequences. She isn't happy with you at all. She's honestly mad. Dan Woodward said he didn't even vote her, as I asked if he was blind. She'd snuck up to see Ellie 24/7. Every moment she was with Ellie she smiled, etc. To her, Ellie meant the world, or at least similar. Dan tries to process this. He wasn't ever the emotional kind. The challenge is announced as we all head to it. The challenge begins as we're all confused by what's happening. Looking around, Jake volunteers to go check what's going on the outside, as Ellie decides to go, which causes Gabby to join the two as well. Me, Fiore, Dan, and Miriam stay inside the cabin trying to find hints. We're all given weapons, the confusion of everybody. Miriam's machete, same as Cannon. Fiore's, same as Cannon. Ellie's bat. Jake's axe. Gabby has Alex. Oh no! No. Dan's is Tom's. I think it would be extremely funny if he had Tom's weapon. For those who don't remember what it is, it was such an OP one. I'm not saying it due to I wonder how YouTube would react to me saying that word. I'm not sure. Anyways, I have a bow and arrow. As Ellie, Jake, and Gabby go off, Ellie introduces herself to Jake as the two have a nice conversation. Well, until Ellie is attacked. Gabby instantly shoots the zombie down as if they're shocked. Gabby instantly helps Ellie up and they run to the cabin, with me rushing over to open the door for the three. They explain how they're zombies, as Miriam states it's all a prank, with Ellie showing her arm bleeding. I mention how this could be a bite, and from all the zombie movies I've binged, she could be infected. Gabby refuses to believe it, but eventually everyone comes to that consensus. Dan mentions that he also remembers that he's seen movies where the infection stops spreading if they were able to get the bite off the person. In the case, cutting her arm off. Gabby and Ellie are instantly against it, but everyone else agrees. Look, y'all, it was survival. Jake grabs Ellie's arm. Miriam gets it up, and the loudest scream you've ever heard. Miriam realizes this might real to Ellie's annoyance. I mean, they just cut her off. As everyone gets out the cabin, Ellie begins feeling tired, which Gabby instantly carries her, but within seconds, Ellie's is now a zombie. Gabby is freaked out. We're all shocked as they start pulling Gabby away as she's trying to run to Ellie. We needed to get out of there. We had to save ourselves. Gabby is mad, but I keep on pushing how we need to move forward for her, and this was survival now! She eventually gets to a decent agreement as Dan comes with us, viewing it as the safest options from the weapons we had. Jake and Miriam go off on their own, leaving Fiore to fend for herself as she wants to a cave. I try to reach Gabby, but she's still mad at Dan, crying from the quote-unquote loss of Ellie. She misses her so much. And she doesn't even know her family. It's just a mess. Me and Dan talk as I say she should be soon, or good, or okay, at least soon enough. But then she's going to hurt her a little bit. Dan explains how he never had realized emotions affected the game so much and why. It's a game for $1 million. Why have them? Which to the point the bonds were naturally formed here, so that it's at core. I mean, similar shows, it's even a romance. Dan says he wondered why he felt so guilty when he voted for Gabby, and this explained it a bit. I tried to ask him he got so oblivious to at least emotions jokingly, but, he isn't comfortable with it. Better leave that alone for a good while. Fury and Nina's supplies notices how Jake and Miriam's tent set up is closer to the cave. Using her crying and suffering as a way to convince them, she lures them close, uses her weapon on both of them, which instantly oops them. She grabs their supplies and decides to stay by the tents. Realizing we're still up there, she probably starts needing more supplies. She tries to come out to stab too. As I'm foraging for more food, using my bow and arrow, I see Fury running. Curious, I follow her as I notice she reached her cave and knocked Dan. Go on. Oofed. Shocked, I instantly run to stop her from entering. Though I'm able to avoid her fence more than the rest, I eventually falls off. Look, I can't. Gabby, realizing what has happened and also submitting her weapon, also mad at what she's done, takes her out instantly. I mean, same which is that I think she'd be in the state of mind to do something like that. I don't know. Gabby wants immunity as the headsets turn on. Ellie receives her arms back. Gabby instantly hugs Ellie. Slowly she's still around, as my head just, hurts. The rest are confused as they try to explain with everyone just done, and we're all mad at them, obviously. No reason surviving this, as everyone comes to the consensus she needs to go, and is happy to everyone immunity, so she could go. She fights to stay, believe me, saying it'll just end up in a tie between sides, but, it does not work. Fury is eliminated in a 6-1 vote.
Episode 10. Everyone's hanging out as Miriam made muffins for everybody for breakfast. Getting up, Miriam says she wants to get a breath of fresh air, asking for Jake to join her. He agrees as the rest of us are alone, chatting up a storm. Miriam mentions how both of them need to get somebody to flip, as it was now a tie across the board, which he hadn't thought of with the pre-elimination ceremony, and this is assuming that Dan is still on their side at the point. Jake mentions from the previous challenge, Gabby was stuck to Ellie like glue, and vice versa. There was no way they would go against each other, which left for me to be convinced, which Miriam promises she would try to do so. When it comes to the challenge, Dan is the one who is able to find the idol thing because Gabby is going to go with Ellie. Jake's going to go with Miriam, and they didn't find it in the original, and me, I don't even know where I'd be. I think I'd just be going to random challenges. I think I'd be at either way, whichever one I'm at. Miriam and Jake managed to find me at some point, and Miriam tries to lay it down that I need to flip. Gabby and Ellie at this point are probably couple, or at least confirmed in some way. You know what I mean? So, if I stick with them and go to the final 3, I am done for. They're going to team up against me. They're going to cause me to lose, and I'm going to be stuck in 3rd place. And no one wants to be stuck in 3rd place. And so she keeps pushing, saying that I need to flip to their side, get one of them out. That way, it's a safer for everybody around. Because with those 2 in game, if they make final 4, they're instantly got 2 votes, and no matter what, you can't break that tie, because at this point, they're inseparable. There's nothing of drama you can use on them to get them to split up. So when Miriam lays that on me, I just say I'll think about it as I walk away. Should I really flip on the people that I have been with since around day 1? It's hard to really say at this rate. Dan manages to find the idol! Oh my gosh. Congratulations. Either way, yeah. Therefore, after the challenge, I think Ellie still wins because she has Gabby's help with her the entire time, and because of that, I think she could easily find a way to win. Talking with Ellie and Gabby, the vote somehow lands to be on Miriam. The line goes to be Miriam because she's a stronger player than Jake. They had a nice interaction with Jake. I know it's 1, but in the end, it's be Jake who's on the chopping block. I don't think Dan would see anything against that. I think he would also think that Ellie and Gabby are an issue, but it can be done next round rather than now. And plus, Miriam has been showing a lot of strategic prowess, and a threat like that needs to be handled. At this point, I'd eventually just side with the Ellie, Gabby, Dan. There's no way I would need to tie it for Miriam and Jake, especially since they were such a close duo, and I would be on the chopping block myself if I did that, because who was saying that Miriam would be able to, because again, I wouldn't know Miriam's all skills. Jake would know that. I wouldn't know any of that at this rate. Maybe I know a few by luck, but in the end, I wouldn't know enough. So Miriam is eliminated here in episode 10. Oh my gosh, 10.
moving on to episode 11. In the morning, Ellie and Gabby are just hanging out while Jake is missing Miriam, just wanting to tell somebody about it. Me and Dan are also talking in the corner, thinking of what we should do strategically. At this point, Ellie and Gabby are an issue. I don't want to betray them too much. I care about them I think I care about them at this rate. I don't know. I feel like if you're spending like a month with these people constantly, I somewhat care. But either way, they had to go. If we wanted a chance at winning the $1 million, there was no way we would have been able to stay. So in the end, the goal was to make Gabby or Ellie lose. So in the end, the same people get the flashlights. Ellie gets the flashlight, I think, oh my gosh, first day. Ellie gets the flashlight, Jake also gets the flashlight, and I get the flashlight because why not? And then Gabby gets the batteries, and Dan gets the batteries. In the end, me and Dan team up, Gabby and Ellie also team up trying to find the exit. I think Dan would know a bit about caves. He seems like the kind who would know at least somewhat to where he would be able to make it to the end of some kind. I don't know. I think Ellie and Gabby would also do pretty good because Gabby knows the wilderness really well, so I think it'd be a really close-knit race. But I think in the end, me and Dan could make it to the end. And at this rate, let's just give Dan some form of spotlight in this world. And then Jake, I don't even know what Jake's doing. He's probably just trying to find somebody, but maybe he would manage to find, like, Ellie, Gabby, or somebody along the lines. In the end, Ellie and Gabby want to vote for Jake, but that isn't the case, as me and Dan pulled Jake's side, telling them what he wants to do, and that we were going to vote for Gabby this go-round. I'd push Gabby if they wanted to vote somebody else. I'd continue to push Gabby because I think I'd probably still be a little petty from what happened earlier. B, I think she'd be the overall stronger competitor. She's a lot stronger in challenges. Social prowess, maybe not. I don't think, again, I think it's easily said that she doesn't have a strong, but challenge-wise, which I think would be the main issue coming forward, even if their social would be an issue because I like Gabby duo. But I think if we're considering the duo as a pair, then we need to choose the challenge more. So I think I'd push for Gabby, and at this rate, Dan probably would think it's fine given how mad Gabby was. And Jake, how much would Jake really care? Especially from episode 8 if they still had their rivalry there. So Gabby is shockingly gone as Ellie realizes that me and Dan flipped, or at least I flipped, or at least one of us flipped in the end. Episode 12. I realize I need to do some damage control here because... So I go up to Ellie and apologize for her, explaining what I needed. I really wanted the money, etc., etc., etc. And I think Ellie would be okay with it. Ellie, A, did betrayal earlier, and she felt really guilty for it, so I think she would see the guilt I was feeling. B, it would be hypocritical if she, like, I might have betrayed Ellie, but you can't betray people either. I mean, I think she'd still be a bit more salty. It's Gabby, for goodness sakes. I'd see it. But either way, I think my duo would eventually land on being... Because Jake and me need to be on separate duos as it is in the original. I mean, no, my gosh, not Jake. The only person here from the 3 is Ellie, meaning she needs to be on a separate duo. So, who's gonna be on each? Girls versus guys, of course. I don't know. I think that's fine by me. I don't think it... Switch. I feel like at this rate it would also be easier because me and Dan have built some form of bond, or at least closer, so I think it'd be interesting. And especially with the drama right now, I think Derek and Trevor would find it. I do understand it's random, but still, I think me and Ellie can manage to win the first thing where I jump at that. I think we could do it. I'm not sure if Dan would be willing. Again, we know so little about Dan, it's hard to say if he'd be scared of heights. Jake didn't seem scared of heights from the original. I can't really tell for that one, so we're just gonna say me and Ellie win because Ellie managed to do it in the original. I know I could do it. I don't know if Jake and Dan could do it. Moving on to the next challenge. Yeah, that's a bit harder, a lot more even matched. But given it's Dan on the other side, I think we could win. Even as much, I don't think it could be his first to throw, and I think we just continue to prowl on. I'm not sure, and I think the fire we can manage to win because I'm not fully convinced I can start a fire, but I think Ellie would have learned from Alec, or at least one of us would know from Alec. I'm not sure Jake or Dan. Dan might know. Dan might actually know, so that might be a little bit of a close battle. So, but even if they win that one, I think we can manage to win the next challenge either way and get the flag, because we could just stand on top of each other, and this time Ellie isn't throwing, so we can manage to get it as Jake and Dan struggle with whatever they're doing, I don't know. But I think it could be a pretty even matchup and we win. And therefore, given that, we have to choose who to eliminate. I think at this rate, we'd actually choose for Jake because A, we get in charge with Dan more, and B, Dan is actually less of a threat. Yes, mentally, but assuming that the last challenge is physical, it's a lot easier. Even with a friend of mine, I think it could be easily said that Jake is the bigger threat because Yeah, at this rate, he doesn't having the paranoia because he still missed Tom and everything, but he didn't have too much of that paranoia that made him go so off track, so off base. And since that isn't here right now, so me and Ellie both decided to vote off Jake and take Dan to the finale, which leads to the finalists being me, Dan, and Ellie. My word. The helpers would be Ellie would get Gabby, Dan, I think, would get Jake. It's really hard to tell. And then I would actually get Alec, because Alec and I had a decent conversation before, so I think he'd support me, and having Alec by my side would be a huge win. Honestly, you can choose who wins. I really don't care. The fact I even made finale is wild to me, even without, you know what I mean? So, let's just move right on to the conclusion.
I think this what if could have easily gone down the route, me get eliminated in Ashley's place, and therefore none of this affecting until, like, All-Stars. But in the end, I do think this was extremely interesting, especially me making finale. But I prefer Disventure Camp Season 2, even though I got eliminated earlier, honestly, because I think I did more, played a better game, quote-unquote, and actually had more impact on the plot. Because here, I don't have any impact until, like, the later episodes, if I'm lucky. I'm kind of just to the side, which is fine, I guess. I don't know. I just think it's more interesting in Disventure Camp Season 2, especially since it's just a lot more interesting there. So if I ever do a what if I was in Disventure Camp All-Stars, which maybe, it'll definitely be using the time I was in Disventure Camp Season 2. That is such much more interesting. And I also find it interesting I actually saved Tom Jake here. Yeah, well, you know. Either way, thank you so much for watching today's video. What were your thoughts on the what if and anything in general in this video? I would love to read in the comments down below. Thank you again and have an awesome day/night. Bye everybody!